From Hollywood. Welcome to the Rat's Ass Podcast with Mojo Elliott.
I'm dead sexy. Look at my sexy body. Oh, yeah. Oh, look, I'm like a singer. Oh, sexy man, sexy man.
Yeah, a highlight from my weekend in Sausalito doing karaoke. How'd I do? All right, now it's back to the grind, though, and another action-packed adventure is ready to roll. Here's the crap on the rap. It's been 97 days. Is all hell about to break loose in D.C.? Are you a cheater? I've got the top 5 states with the most. And should you start tipping fast food workers? We'll dig into that one. Are boomers the new punching bag for America? And my take on the Shedeur Sanders NFL draft saga. Another round of head traumas on the way. We've got the secret sound lined up for you. Plus, our usual loose behavior. Saw it on the X, Celebrity Cheese, your email from our Gmail, one more thing. And we got shout-outs to Rat Nation and the Resistance. Those of you who email us but haven't joined Rat Nation yet. Come on, be one of the few and the loud. All right, I've got a confession to make. I'm not proud of it, but I'm going to share it with you, my faithful listeners, because I said I would share everything with you. And I found out something new about myself over the weekend.
Satan is real and is living right now inside of me.
Just kidding. Did I freak you out just a little bit? Yeah, mess with you Monday. All right, today marks President Trump's 97th day in office. 3 more days, it'll be that magical 100 days. Now, he's got more plates spinning than a Russian acrobat right now, and D.C. Democrats can't keep up. All they're doing is their usual protesting, pissing and moaning, bitching and complaining because Trump won't play fair. Now, did the Democrats play fair when Joe Biden had his reign of terror on America? Of course not. But when a Republican's in office, they want a seat at the table. Forget the fact that the voters said, take a break. Go pound sand, Democrats. You've done enough. That's why they voted in control of everything to the Congress, Senate, and the White House. All Democrats can do is throw obstacles at the president now, like these liberal judges attempting to slow down mass deportation of illegals who do commit violent crimes. Now, a report out this morning said there's an estimated 700,000 illegals running loose in America with criminal pasts, ranging from murder, rape, robbery, kidnapping, human trafficking. How would you like to have one for a neighbor? Wouldn't that be nice, huh? Nice, safe America. Joe Biden comes into office, and now you got to worry about walking down the street and getting knocked in the head by one of these folks. Yeah. So I think you'll agree, though, 700,000 people who came to America to pillage from our country, if organized, would be a nice-sized army, wouldn't it, that we'd have to deal with, called the enemy within? This is who the Democrats want to keep within our borders. Now, a judge in Milwaukee was arrested for assisting illegals to escape ICE. So good on ICE. Took her in custody. So now we can hold her up in town square and say, we'll use you for an example, and hopefully it sends a message to these judges. Now, what do the Democrats like to say? What did we hear for 4 years? Nobody is above the law? Or has that been rescinded now? Oh, and by the way, Trump is going to bring back Columbus Day as part of the Make America Great Again agenda. As they would say in the South, are you for it? Or are you again it? All right, are you a cheater? And I'm not talking about taxes, taking a test. I'm talking about your significant other, married or not. Now, you might want to move to one of these top 5 states because your chances of cheating are probably greater. And according to the cheaters site, Ashley Madison. I think you know who they are. Tell me what these 5 states have in common. At number 5, it was Nebraska. Number 4, Illinois. Number 3, New Hampshire, and North Dakota at number 2, followed by that Rocky Mountain High in Colorado. Yeah, Colorado, you win. You got the state with the most cheaters. People like, oh, really? Let's flock to Colorado. Yeah, so what do they all have in common? They're all cold country. It snows. People like to snuggle where it's cold, right? Whiskey, women, song, cuddling at that $29 motel on the roadway. You know, a state like California, you'd expect us to be number 1, top spot for cheaters, right? California didn't place in the top 10. In fact, our new state motto should be, California, we keep it in our pants. All right, how do you feel about tipping fast food workers? You know, we've been conditioned not to have to worry about this. Drive-through, walk-in, fast food, fast coffee, whatever. But now fast food chains are putting a tip option when you pay before they serve your food. Yes, before. You're driving up to the kiosk, drive-through. We know they screw the drive-through anyway. But if you don't tip, What if that word, hey, they didn't tip. Order 27 didn't tip. Really? In your burger. A little extra something for you. This burger really tastes good here for a change. Really? It's the new Loogie-fied burger. That's what scares me about the whole damn thing. And I rarely go to fast food restaurants. It's very rare. I only go to 2, by the way. In-N-Out Burger here in California, we loves us some In-N-Out Burger. But they don't have a tip option on their menu yet. If they do, I might have to rethink my drive-through at In-N-Out. But, I love my Jersey Mike's, man. They're a sub above, and they mean it. And, so good. Get it Mike's way. And I know that they generally ask you if you want it Mike's way. That sounds a little normal, but when you ask, it sounds a little sexually suggestive. But, man, it's so tasty. But, I feel like waiters get tips because they're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Fast food worker just throws it in the bag and hands it to you. So I'm saying no to the fast food workers on the tipping. I mean, here in California, they're making $20 an hour already. So why would I tip too? Do I sound cheap? I don't care. Are boomers the new punching bag for America? I picked up on a BuzzFeed study that said Americans are ridiculing boomers now for their phrasing, things that we say in conversation, because it gives away our age. So let me ask, if you're a boomer, do you use these phrases? I'm videoing this. I've never heard a boomer or anybody say I'm videoing this. They might say I've got a videotape of something. I say I'm filming or I'm getting a shot of something. All right, let's do this thing. I've never said that one. You can go back through all of my podcasts. And if I say, let's do this thing, or let's do this, I'll tell you what, I'll set you up with a nice set of Indian burns and noogies. How's that? Maybe a wedgie, atomic wedgie. That'd be good too, wouldn't it? Yeah, but no, we don't say that. We say, let's do it. Another one is, let me ask you something. I'm guilty of saying, let me ask you a question because it's designed to draw you in. Telling me time in quarters. Like it's, how would you say time in quarters? I don't even do that. What is it, 8:15, 9:15, something like that? Now, in passing, I might say it's a half past the monkey's ass, a quarter till his balls. I've never said that on the radio, but I'm professionally trained. I'm a radio professional. We do it digitally. It's 7:11, 8:43, 9:15. That's how we do it. The other one is YOLO. You only live once. Hell, I don't think most boomers even know what YOLO means yet. So I think that's more of a Gen X, maybe a millennial kind of thing. So I think they're kind of merging demographics here. During my radio programming career, I spent a lot of time studying demographics and life groups. And here's what I discovered when it comes to boomers. Okay, there's actually 2 subsets of boomers. Those born from 1946 to 1954, I labeled them as Generation Smith. So think about Donald Trump. He's in that generation. And then the other one is Generation Jones. They were born from 1955 to 1964. Didn't have to deal with war, the draft, anything like that. So I labeled them as Generation Jones. So think Eddie Van Halen. Okay, the difference between Donald Trump and Eddie Van Halen. So there's your visual. Now, what I hear a lot of Gen Xers saying is, we're Gen X, we don't care. Well, what I will tell you, Gen X, Generation Jones invented we don't care. Everything about Gen X was inspired by Generation J. When you think about it, I think you'll understand that I'm telling you the truth on this, okay? Everything Gen X is doing was inspired by somebody in Generation J. The difference is they're vocal about it. Gen J is we're the talk about it, not the be about it generation.
Here comes Mr. Big Head Mojo Elliott with Rap Sports.
Oh, yes, my big head. Hey, it was a shame the 2025 NFL Draft became the Shedeur Sanders Show, overshadowing the whole event until he was taken in the 5th round by the Cleveland Browns, who could have taken him at number 2, but they passed. I thought they were nuts, but like the movie Draft Day, they still got their man. And all the hype died down. Now, here's why Sanders, I think, slipped down the draft board. It had nothing to do with race. Everything goes with race today. No. Just shut the hell up about that. All right, it had everything to do with him skipping the draft combine. NFL, coaches' jobs are on the line, a lot of money. Winning is paramount. So you got a lot of guys who showed up to try out to let coaches know how fast they were, how smart they were, how athletic they were, but not Shedeur. He decided, you know what? You know who my daddy is? Reputation. But here's the deal. Even if he played in Colorado, I don't find them as being, a team that played great competition. But the bottom line is, when you play college football, you're playing against the best high school players in the nation. And when you get to the professional level, trust me, folks, they're a hell of a lot faster than what you're seeing. They are quick. They are fast. So they need to know that Sanders has a problem getting sacked, that he can get rid of the ball quicker. Didn't show up at the combine to show that. So that's why I think he slipped down the combine. He's going to have to prove himself a little bit more. It might cost him some money, but hey, it is what it is. All right, NBA playoff action. Minnesota toasted my Lakers. Just toasted them. They lead that series 3-1. Lakers aren't going to win 3 in a row. They're out. They're done. Toast. They had them beat for 45 minutes. Now, they gave up 3 10-point leads in the game. Got to the fourth quarter, 3 minutes to go. Minnesota kicked in a gear I haven't seen before and just took the Lakers down. All right, so it is what it is again. The Knicks beat Detroit to take a 3-1 lead in their series. Boston down Orlando. They're up 3-1 as they head back to Boston. Indiana smoked Milwaukee 3. That series is now 3-1 in favor of the Pacers. NHL playoffs. St. Louis skated past Winnipeg to even up that series at 2 games each. Carolina easily outskated New Jersey to go up 3-1 in that series. Washington rolled over Montreal, and that series is 3-1 in favor of the Capitals. Edmonton slipped one past the goalie in overtime to beat the LA Kings. That series tied up at 2 games apiece. And here's the good news. The Pittsburgh Penguins will have a new coach next season. They finally fired Mike Sullivan after not getting the Pens in the playoffs for the last 3 years. So thank you, FSG. Appreciate it. You've made this Pens fan a very happy man. All right, you can get my playoff picks for the NBA and NHL playoffs on the Rat's Ass Podcast blog at ratsasspodcast.com. Head on over to ratsasspodcast.com. And that's sports on the Wrap.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, today we're playing the secret sound. Listen close and tell me what you think this sound is. Listen one more time. All right, here's the clue. There's a good chance you have one of these stored in your drawer. All right, I'll have the answer for you coming up a little bit later on the podcast.
It's time for some loose behavior on the Rat's Ass Podcast.
Let's do it, man. Here's what's up on the Rat's Ass Podcast feed. We call it Saw It on the X. All right, Jojo Diva posted this. He said, where do you hide your money when you go out? I don't hide my money when I go out, but I'm going to start after reading through some of these responses. Glenn Forrest said, I keep 20 in my wallet and 100 in my shoe. If I get jumped, they get the 20. I still have my 100. I think that's brilliant. That's good. That's a good way to go. Maybe somebody do that. Hell, maybe the thieves already know this and say, give me your shoes. But it still sounds good to me. All right, D. Sack said, I roll it up in an empty chapstick container. That's a new one. He said, nobody's taking something where my hair lip has been. You got that right. All right, Lisa Hill said, I put my money in my underwear under my panty liner. How does that work? I got to visualize this one. Okay, so you got the panties, you put the money down in the money, you put the panty liner. Okay, I get it. Thanks for wearing the panties, though, by the way, Lisa. And for the visual. Appreciate it.
Hey, heads up. Here comes your celebrity cheese.
Got to get that out of my head. All right, Katy Perry is getting ridiculed. God, so many people get ridiculed all the time. I feel like we're the ridiculed podcast. But anyway, Katy Perry is getting the business for the space costume she's wearing on her tour following her Blue Origin ride. Yes, it was a ride, not a flight. It was a ride. It wasn't a ride it was a ride into outer space. That's all that was. But imagine how her fans would react if Katy was using a Blue Origin rocket-shaped vibrator. Bzzz. Yeah. Talk about outer space, baby. Taking you to a new planet. Wheel of Fortune's Vanna White says she still hangs out with Pat Sajak, her former host. They go to dinner, go out for drinks, go to a movie every once in a while, maybe a play. I got to tell you, I'm willing to bet my third nut here that Pat and Vanna, they've done the dirty deed at some point over the last 40 years. What do you think? All right, Ben Affleck's new movie, The Accountant 2, finished number 3 at the box office over the weekend, and he's taking crap, too, on social media for not buying his little boy a $6,000 pair of sneakers. Ben told his son, I'm rich, you're not. Earn your own damn money if you want to. So good for Ben for keeping his son grounded, but he's obviously a cheap son of a bitch, huh? The official cause of death for Gene Hackman is in, along with his wife, Betsy. Now, Gene's list of health problems reads like a movie script, and while the report doesn't say natural causes, at 93, all of them together had to add up to some kind of natural cause. Now, his wife, Betsy, was found to have died from the hantavirus. Now, you might find this hard to believe, but Gene doesn't have a star on a Hollywood Walk of Fame. Doesn't have one. I was shocked when I read this, and I said, what? You got to be kidding me. Gene Hackman doesn't have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? He was never nominated for one. Yeah, never. All right, before I plow ahead on this, you can check out our Rat's Ass Podcast blog, and you'll see all the tour dates for 2025. 44 tours coming up this year that you can check out. See if one's your fave, coming to your area. Again, Rat's Ass Podcast at gmail.com. ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. And by the way, Britney Spears has now been single for 69 days.
Who gives a rat's ass?
Rat's Ass Podcast. Email from our Gmail.
All right, James T. from Vancouver, Canada asked, your assessment of it's not an ask, he's telling me something nice here. Your assessment of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on your X feed was spot on. Well, I got to go back and think, what was the question I was responding to here? I think it was, who would be the type of person who voted for AOC? And I said, ignorant Democrats who want to sit on their ass and collect a government check. I mean, who's going to vote for a former bartender to be president of the United States if it wasn't about just, hey, I got to kick back and collect the check, man. I'm voting for AOC. Alice M., Marietta, Ohio said, do you think judges who block ICE from deporting illegals should be put in handcuffs and arrested? Absolutely. Make an example out of them. I mean, personally, I'm all for getting rid of violent illegals who prey on innocent taxpayers here in America, Americans, and damn the judges and politicians who protect them, too. All right, Cat L., Boulder, Colorado, where they love to cheat in Colorado. I went on my first date with a guy since my 17-year marriage ended last year, and would you believe my ex-husband was at the restaurant we went to? My date didn't go so well, but after a few drinks, I ended up in the sack with my ex. Really? The only problem is, he was gone when I woke up the next morning, and I haven't heard from him since. How should I read this? Tell you what, Kat, I would just chalk it up to reliving a fond memory and leave it at that. All right, John C. from Elgin, Illinois said, I'm dating 2 women I really like. Oh, you scallywag. He said, but my ex wants to get back together. The problem is I'm having too much fun. What would you do? Go back with the ex or keep having fun? Well, first thing you got to remember is there's a reason why she is an ex. That's number one. Number two, what if she was like, I know about these 2 women he's dating. If I can get him back as part of a game, I'll get him back, break up those relationships, and then I'll dump him again. Oh, yes, they do play those games. So I would say forget the ex and keep on having fun, John. Right, Max D. in Long Beach, California said, what do you think about California adopting a mileage tax? Oh, I went rat shit crazy. Yeah, I read that. I go, here we go again. More taxes. More taxes. We are the most taxed state in the nation when you add everything up. They would tax the air we breathe if they could, and I hate to bring it up. Hey, that's a good idea. Let's tax the air we breathe. Right, but here's the deal. I did the research on this, okay? Now, first of all, the reason for everybody else who's not from California, the reason they want to do this is they did a state mandate that by 2035, all of us have to have electric cars. So people are out there buying electric cars now, getting used to them, driving them around. But it's state's not making enough tax money from the gas tax now. See? Kind of cut their nose off to spite their face, and now they got to look for another revenue source to keep the roads looking good. And we know it's not about that. It's about funding illegals in this state. As long as we have Democrats, it's going to be about staying in power. They're going to take every damn dime we make. Fourth largest economy, but we got 5 cities in the top 23 dirtiest cities in the country. So keep that in mind too. But anyway, I digress on that one. But here's the deal. It's about 28 cents per mile. That adds up to $28 per 1,000 miles that you drive. So if you drive 15,000 miles a year, you get 20 miles a gallon on your car. That roughly is 750 gallons of gasoline. That comes down to about $450 a year in gas tax. If you look at the electric tax that they want to do, the mileage tax, it's about the same. Works out about the same. Maybe a little bit cheaper, actually. So there you go. You can do the research on this yourself. If you get something different than me, let me know. Eli G., London, England. Welcome from London. What are all the bells and whistles on your podcast now all of a sudden? I preferred it when it was just you without the flair. Eli, I did morning radio here in the States, here in Los Angeles and other markets for 20 years. And this is how I did a morning radio show. And the fact is, listenership has tripled, especially abroad, since I've been doing the show with all the flair, as you put it. And that's what really drives me, is growing the audience. And as long as people continue to show up, then I'm going to keep doing it the way I do it. I have a feeling that across the pond, people haven't heard shows done the way I do it, because I'm seeing the audience grow even faster there, and people are always drawn to something they haven't heard before. I could be wrong, but that's my early assessment on this before I talk to more people. Maybe you tell me if it's something that you haven't heard before. Maybe that's why it bugs you a little bit. All right, if you have any questions or comments, send them to my producer, Fleabag, at ratsasspodcast.com ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. Man, I've said it so many times today, and that case of the Mondays is really hitting me, and I don't have my whiskey to make me frisky today. But keep in mind, the more outrageous and salacious, the better. Please, that's what we like here on the Rat's Ass Podcast.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, we're playing the secret sound. Listen close and tell me what sound this is. Right, your clue was there's a good chance you have one of these stored in your drawer. I know what you're thinking, and you know me, so no, it's an electric razor. If you guessed electric razor, if you missed it, go see a doctor about your head trauma and get well soon. All right, I got to go get my dog's dentures replaced, but I do have one more thing for you. Did you know 20% of the world's population has cheek dimples? Cheek dimples. Now, I've been to the beach. That has to be face cheeks. Has to be, because I've been to the beach, and I would say only 20% of the butt cheeks out there don't have dimples.
It's called cellulite, you butthead.
Well, Alexa, dimples, cellulite, it all looks like cottage cheese to me.
Hey, bonehead, are you going to do the shout-outs to Rat Nation or what?
Jesus, Alexa, you've been giving me a lot of head names today.
I'm glad you like the head.
Well, that's debatable. All right, welcome to Rat Nation, Jiggy West of Appleton, Wisconsin, John McWhorter of Shawnee, Oklahoma, Lori D'Amico of Toledo, Ohio, and to the Resistance, Ron L. of Midland, Texas, Cassidy K. from Yorba Linda, and I'm not, California. Around the world to listeners in Russia, Holland, Canada, and Colombia. Thank you so much for listening to the Rat's Ass Podcast. I really do appreciate, and I would like it if you would join the Rat Nation.
Now's your chance to be one of the few and the loud. Join Rat Nation at ratsasspodcast.com. Membership does have its rewards, you know.
All right, that's it. We're going to wrap up this episode of the Rat's Ass Podcast. Be sure to check it out, the new ratsasspodcast.com, to connect with us on the socials, listen to podcasts, join Rat Nation, and read the blog. It's loaded with current events, pop culture, music, the radio wars, sports, the Q&A, sex and relationships, plus the Dumbass Awards. It's all fresh, all new today. We'll do this again on Wednesday, April 30th. Take care. And thanks for dropping by the Rap.
The conversation continues between podcasts on X and ratsasspodcast.com. ratsasspodcast.com.